Today we're going to start chapter 13, which is the next biomolecule, which is protein. So we've already talked about carbohydrates, we talked about lipids, and now we're going to talk about proteins. The thing to remember about proteins is they have smaller units as well. Like carbohydrates were made out of monosaccharides, lipids were made out of fatty acids and glycerol, and then proteins are made out of amino acids. The sequence of the amino acids determines what protein you have, okay? So an amino acid, it likes to have a pH of about 7.3, which is really nice because that's the pH of our blood. So that works. It has an amine and a carboxylic acid. And so this part, the backbone of every amino acid, and there's 20 amino acids, is the same. Here's your amine group, NH2 or NH3 because it's on the end. And then we have, your carboxylic double bond O. But this R group, every amino acid has a different R group on it. The backbone is the same, but the R group is different for each amino acid, okay? And the thing about amino acids is even though their overall charge is 0, they have a positive end and they have a negative end. So they call them zwidions. I don't know where that came from, you guys. I really don't. It's kind of like water. Water's polar. Water has a hydrogen end, which is positive, and oxygen, which is negative. And this helps them when they're trying to attach to each other and do things like that. So they do have an overall charge of 0, but there is positive and negative ends in amino acids, okay? If you look, these are the amino acids, okay? There's 9 of them, and the next page will have the other ones. See this one? Glycerin only has a hydrogen for the R group. The backbone's the same. Alanine, if you compare the two, it has a methyl group instead of an H. When you get to valine, it has a propyl group instead. When you get to leucine, it has a butyl group. Okay, so it keeps getting more, different and different, but that's what makes them specific amino acids. So the backbone is the same on every single one of them. The R group changes, like, here's 2 benzene rings, and here's 1 benzene ring, and so on. So every amino acid, there's 20 different amino acids, okay? And the R group is different, okay? Here's some more, okay? Here's, this one has a double bond OO, and this one has an ethyl group with a double bond OO. This one only has a methyl group. So again, the R group is different, and that makes them a different amino acids, okay? But this part is all the same on every one of them, okay? So our amino acids, we have 20. We need 20. To make all the proteins in our body, we need 20 different amino acids, okay? 11 of the 20 we can make in our body, okay? We have the tools to make them. 9 of them we have to get through our diet, okay? So we will eat something and we'll break it down into these amino acids, okay? Our body will do that, but we have to get that from our diet. They're known as essential amino acids because we need them to build whatever, if we're building muscle tissue or bone tissue or brain tissue or whatever we need those amino acids to build those proteins, okay? The nice thing about animal proteins is they have the complete package as far as those amino acids that we need, okay? If you eat a hamburger, you'll break it down into amino acids. You're going to get the amino acids you need. People that are vegetarians or vegan, they have to watch their diet a little bit more closely because you can't always eat the same stuff. If you do, you'll be missing some amino acids. So they have to check their diet out a little bit more carefully than, like I said, animal sources, I guess you'd call them animal proteins, meat, will have the essential amino acids where the plants have specific ones. So you have to really watch your diet and make sure you get what you need, okay? So amino acids, 19 of the 20 naturally occurring amino acids are what they call the alpha, the center, their chira, the carbon is the center, and then they form out from that. The L form the other way, so we have the L and the D, okay? And the difference between them is, see, they just flip over, okay? This one has the NH3 group, the amine group here, and this one has it on that side. So they're just mirror images of each other. Most of them are the L form. The natural occurring 20 out of, 19 out of the 20 have the L form. Only one of them is the other way. And again, that's just how they flip. They flip together, okay? The exception is glycerin. Glycerin is the only one where its hydrogen is in the middle like this, and it's on the outside. So that's the only difference between, and this is the only one that doesn't make a difference. But 19 out of 20 are formed this way. Only one of them is the opposite. Okay, because they're produced from chiral amino acids, proteins are also chiral. In other words, they spiral or they fold. And it's because of the way the amino acids are. Okay. Oh, it counts for the different effects seen in various drugs. The way that they're made is the way they'll work. Okay. All right. So when you're ready to make a protein, okay, you have to take a bunch of amino acids and put them together. The sequence of amino acids determines what protein you have. Okay. So between them, to hold amino acids together, they form what they call a peptide bond or a dipeptide bond. And what happens is the amine group from one amino acid and the carboxylic acid from the other, they form a bond right here. You can see it right here. Okay, so they have to form in this way. They can't flip the other way. The only one that's flipped the other way is glycerin, and it could be the beginning. So in general, this is what happens is you take an amino acid and you snap it with another amino acid and another one and another one and another one. It's kind of like if you ever had, little kids have those little kind of diamond shaped things, toys that snap together. They have a little spot where you snap one in, then you snap another one and you snap another one. That's kind of the process. You take a bunch of amino acids, put them in the right order, and then you get your protein. And the thing that holds them together is a peptide bond. So between every amino acid, you get a peptide bond, and that's what holds them together. That's where they snap together. Okay. The sequence of the amino acids is determined by your DNA. Your DNA says, okay, you need some skin protein, you need some melanin. Let's say you need some color in your skin. This is how you make that protein. It's this amino acid, then this one, then this one, and it's all in the code of your DNA. So the order of the amino acids determines what protein you'll have, and it comes from your DNA. Okay, so polypeptides, these long ones, is many amino acids. It makes your proteins, and then they serve whatever function. Whether it's an enzyme like amylase we talked about that breaks down starches. We have lots and lots of enzymes, so it could be that. It could be, like I said, making keratin, which is a waterproofing protein in your skin. Whatever you need, your DNA is going to say, okay, this is how you make it, and it's the order of amino acids. What order you put them in determines what protein you have. Okay, so proteins are composed of from 50 to 27,000 amino acids. It depends on the protein. Most of them are around 2,000. Okay, some of them are multiple chains, so you'll make one protein and you'll attach to another protein to another. It just depends on what protein you need. Okay, they estimated that we have over 1 million different proteins in our body. So that's a lot. If you think about it, they only come from 20 different amino acids. Okay, and it's all coded for in your DNA. So when you need a protein, your DNA is copied. The information, it's like the blueprint. It says, oh, this is how we make this protein. It's copied. It comes out of your nucleus into your cytoplasm. And what does that is messenger RNA. It makes a copy of the DNA, and then it makes the protein. If you've had the COVID shot, that's what they gave you. They gave you the messenger RNA to make the protein, the antibodies to protect you from COVID. Okay, so what they did is they bypassed the DNA. So some people worry about if you get the vaccine, it's going to mess up your DNA. It won't go near your DNA. It's already got the code. And so then it goes in your cells and it makes the protein for you. So don't worry about the COVID vaccine messing up your DNA. It doesn't go near it. It's already done that. It's already copied the information. Okay. But anyway, we have, 1 million different proteins in our body, the information to build them, all in our DNA. Okay. There's 3 general types of proteins. There's fibrous proteins, there's globular proteins, and there's membranous or membrane proteins. Okay. If you took biology, I'm sure you've seen the membrane ones, but they have different jobs, and we have, like I said, 1 million different proteins. So just think about how many different proteins that we have to make. And some of them, 27,000 amino acids. But again, the code is all in your DNA. The information is all there. You just got to put it together. Okay. So how do we make these proteins? Well, again, the DNA is copied, and then that has the sequence of amino acids. So if we need a fibrous protein, okay, they tend to be very strong and insoluble. Okay, like I talked about keratin already. Keratin is a waterproofing material that you find in your skin. It's also what your hair and your fingernails are made out of. Okay, just think if your skin wasn't waterproof, what would happen to you every time you took a shower? Slosh, 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 right? It's also, if you're a bird, it's in your feathers. It's the tip of your feathers or horns, claws, hooves. You know, that's their nails, I guess. So that's what keratin is. That is a fibrinous protein. There's elastins, which also give flexibility. We need flexibility in our skin too. Our blood vessels need to be flexible. Our heart, you know, anything that stretches, our lungs, our intestines, our tendons, our ligaments, those are all elastins, and those are a type of protein. And then there's collagens. These are the ones that make things more rigid. We have connective tissue in our skin that makes it flexible, but also makes it so that it's not, you know, too flexible so that it all gathers around your ankles. We have tendons, bones, cartilage, ligaments. All those things are proteins, and they're called fibrous proteins. Okay. Our globular proteins are soluble. Okay. So they'll dissolve in water, and they're folded into spherical shapes. And then we have membrane proteins that are found in our cell membranes. Okay. What they do is help move things in and out of your cell, because the membrane itself will allow small things to move in and out. But what if you need something big in there? What'll happen is the protein makes little channels, it grabs it and pulls it through. But if you look at a membrane, there's several proteins in it because they're very specific. They only grab one thing at a time, or one specific thing. They don't, you know, it's not a size thing. They only are looking for like maybe one specific hormone or something like that. Okay, so how do we make proteins? Well, there's 4 different things you got to worry about proteins. Okay, proteins work according to their shape. All right. So the primary structure of the protein is the amino acid sequence. So if you look here, we have glyc, il, val, glu. I mean, this is the amino acid sequence. And obviously you can have more than one amino acid in there, right? Because if there's only 20 amino acids and we have, you know, all these different proteins. But this sequence was determined by the DNA, okay? So this, all these little numbers here, these are letters, I should say, represent the 20 amino acids. Okay, they have one to start, and then they add and they add and they add. This one gets a little bloop down here, and add and add and add. So this is what they call the primary structure. It's whatever the amino acids is. And if you want to know all of these, they're in your book. They'll show you where they're at. Okay, if you have an error, okay, so if this messes up, okay, like it did here and here, then you're going to have a problem with its shape. Okay, it can't do what it wants to do. But we actually have other proteins that come along and say, oh, wait a minute, something's missing here, let's fix it. So it's, you know, we do have fixer-upper proteins. Ones, they're like quality control. They go down the line and say, wait, oh, no, this is wrong. So they'll fix it up. Okay, but the primary structure of DNA is whatever the sequence of amino acids is. That's the first thing. Okay. Okay, the secondary structure, there's only 2. Okay, because of their positive and negative charges, proteins, once they're made, they have all their amino acids, they'll do one of 2 things. They'll either spin around or they'll fold back and forth. So that's their secondary structure. It's either a regular folding pattern or it's a spin. Okay, so it comes from the hydrogen bonding in the means in the backbone because of that positive and negative charges. But they'll either, let's see if I'll do this. If this is a protein, it's either going to fold back and forth on itself, you know, so that you get like a pleated. I'm not doing this very well, you guys. So it'll be like this, pleated like a fan, or it'll just spin apart. And maybe I have a better picture of that. I think I do. Okay, so the 2 common are pleated and helix. Okay, helix is a spiral. Okay, if it's a helix, it's formed by the hydrogen bonding and the carbonyl group, that carboxylic acid, and it looks like a ribbon. Okay, so it either can be helical shaped, spin around, or it'll be pleated. That's your secondary. And I think that's where we got to quit. So we'll quit right here. Okay, so that's our secondary, helical or